Hey there, coaches. I'm Rich Prado, owner of Play in School and host of Travel Ball Talk, where I talk to travel ball coaches from the best organizations about the current and future state of travel baseball. Today's call features Isaac Lippert from Legacy Park Sports and Legacy Park Academy, just a little bit north of me here in Richmond, Virginia. You long-term listeners will know that I'm a big fan of academies. It's a great new alternative to the traditional school setting stuck inside a school building. So I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about what the brand new academy has going on up at Legacy Park Sports. I hope you enjoy this episode of Travel Ball Talk. All right, welcome back to another episode of Travel Ball Talk. Today's episode, we're staying local, going right up the road to Rutherglen, Virginia. A lot of you travel ball folks have been to where we're going today. Let me back up a second though, because we had the former owner of this facility, Jeff Schaefer, on the show last year. Jeff's a good dude. Jeff was involved with the ownership group that owned the Virginia Sports Complex for many years, maybe perhaps a decade or longer. Ownership changed hands this past year. Virginia Sports Complex is now Legacy Park Sports, and within the facility, they're putting together an academy. And you guys have listened to the show before, know that I am super intrigued and in love with the idea of the academy. So today's guest is Isaac Lippert, who is running Legacy Park Academy. Isaac, that's a mouthful, a lot of words there. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing good, man. Just really excited to talk to you about some baseball this morning.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, Jeff's a buddy of mine, and we were sorry to see him sort of leave the area. He's down doing some cool stuff, and we're actually going to have him on the show to sort of give an update on the Knot Hole Foundation and that big complex he's been a part of down in the Charlotte area. But today we're going to get an update on all of the happenings over at Legacy Park. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
So today, if you're listening to this a year from now or 10 years from now, today's basically we're recording on September 29th of the year of the COVID, 2020. So back in March and leading into April, the world came to an end. Everything was shut down, including youth sports and our industries. And what, everybody in this space was on pins and needles. We didn't know what was going to happen. I'm assuming you guys, basically the new ownership took over, and you're looking to have a great year. And
Yeah.
Can you kind of lead us into, say, maybe, I think when things started loosening up was probably the end of May, beginning of June. Give us the 2-second version of what you thought was going to happen versus what actually happened up at the complex, and maybe tell
Sure.
people what the complex, if they've never been, what all the complex has up there, the sports park.
Absolutely, yeah. Legacy Park Sports, for anyone who hasn't been there, it's got a Little League quad, so 4 Little League fields, a quad of four fields of the large field, a high school field, as well as an indoor complex that has 14,000 square feet turf side, a weight room, 2 basketball courts, and all sorts of other stuff. But yeah, just to kind of take you back to what we were feeling this past spring, because I joined the team back in April, and we before the world came to an end, we had something like 20 events just from Perfect Game alone scheduled for the summer. And so we were definitely a little worried, but I think once we kind of, Sean Mills, the owner, is always an optimist, and I think he always was on the side of, this might be not that it's a good thing for the world, but this might end up working for us, because if we're able to open a lot of city fields and schools won't be able to, and we'll be able to really run a good show this summer and really show people that things here have, improved. So while we were really worried, obviously, I think we really took advantage of it so that we could kind of try to rebuild a little bit of what's going on here at the complex.
So long story short, for most of the country, the high school fields were totally unavailable for playing baseball. The college fields were totally unavailable, which left basically private facilities and pro parks. And you guys up at Legacy Park Sports, right place, right time. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys had games every day for 2 straight months or something.
I think from I think when Governor Northam opened up, I want to say it was around June 10th or so. I think we had baseball 35 out of 36 days.
Incredible.
Something like that. And then it didn't really slow down a whole lot after that, all the way up until August. So yeah, definitely a really busy summer.
Incredible. So let's take a step back, and you mentioned Sean. Can you sort of introduce Sean Mills and and sort of the background story of how Sean came to take over and bring us what we now know as Legacy Park?
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, Sean is a Maryland native. He owns a few businesses, and he spent the last 15, 20 years as a father doing the youth sports circuit. His son played baseball his whole life and went to college to play baseball, and he would experience these tournaments and these events and really think, all right, we're dragging along all the daughters, and sometimes we're dragging along grandma, and we have to, and there's nothing to do. We get to these places, there's nothing to do. And he just really, I think he kind of imagined a scenario where you can create an event, how Cooperstown has the Hall of Fame and the history of everything there. We want to create an event space that provides more than just the baseball. It can be like the family vacation. Let's pack everyone up. So, we have Kings Dominion right down the road. DC is an hour and a half north. Richmond is super historical. So Sean's real vision in kind of buying the complex was the ability to create a space where it is not just about sports. It's about creating family memories and giving everyone an opportunity to do more than just go sit there and watch their son play when they might have 2 or 3 other kids who are sitting there bored out of their minds. So I think that was really kind of the big impetus, so to speak, of Sean's, his motivation to find a place and why Legacy Park really fit that bill.
So we're talking about the physical grounds at this point. We're talking about you got the 4 big fields, you got the 4 little fields, the indoor facility, the basketball stuff. But that's not really what we came here to talk about. What I want to find out more about, and we're going to spend probably the majority of today talking about the academy. So yeah, you guys, I think we're calling it Legacy Park Academy, which is going to be within Legacy Park Sports. Is that
yes, sir.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it right.
And you're going to be running the day-to-day on this. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So give us, Sean buys and puts together Legacy. He buys the sports complex. We got going through the total rebrand, and right out the gate, he's tackling a kind of a big project here with the academy.
Yeah.
What about this concept drew him to try to tackle this right out the gate?
Sure. And, again, just as I spoke to him being influenced by his son's athletic career, this time it's his daughter. His youngest child is a highly competitive ice skater and, very driven individual, a girl who really just didn't enjoy traditional school settings because she felt like she was slowed down by kids messing around and asking questions, and she didn't want to go to gym class because she skated for 2 hours that morning and she's going to skate for another 3 hours after school. So I think they really they were like, homeschooling might be a really good option for her, because they had homeschooled their other students, or their other children, I mean. And, So she's the type of individual, their daughter, that can get her schoolwork done in 3 or 4 hours every day, and they drive up to Delaware 4 or 5 days a week from Maryland to go to this training facility. And at this training facility, all the local kids that live there spend their days there. They do their homework there, they eat there, they do their weight training there, their ice skating there. And that was really, I think, another big thing for Sean was, wow, this is an amazing experience. Kids can sit in one place and do, rather than having to walk to class and waste 10 minutes doing that and go to gym class and sit in the lunchroom and have to deal with kids messing around in the classroom, it would be amazing to create a space where the education and the athletic experience happens in the same place in the same school hours. And Legacy Park, the what was already there, the facility that's already there, really lends itself to that.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about myself as a teenage kid, and just thinking about how much something like this in my backyard would have been. It would have been. My dad would have been all over it.
Absolutely.
It gives you the opportunity to eliminate the distractions of the kids who aren't into that high level thing, whatever it is, whether it's skating or baseball or music or art. Let's get around like-minded people, like-minded families who all have one goal and can, and everybody drive towards it. I would have been all over this. That's part of the reason I'm so interested. And if you're new to this to this show, to Travel Ball Talk, I've already had a few guys on in the past, and I'll put some links in the show notes. Just off the top of my head, Brian Martinez runs TNXL down in the Orlando area. Tyler Corson runs NLA in Alabama. Richie Palmer with Elite Squad has set up an academy, and Mario Jimenez with Inspiration Academy, which is basically right in the same town with the big boy that we all know, the model that is basically the Lamborghini of this space is IMG, right? Yeah. So we haven't had Dan Simons on the show yet, but Dan, if you're listening, I want to get you on to talk about IMG. But that's basically what we're talking about when we're talking about these academies. It's IMG, or a spin on what they're doing.
Gold standard.
That's the Lamborghini. That's the one that really jumps off the page, and it obviously has some serious benefits. But just again, talking personally, as a 15-year-old kid, I think it would have been very difficult for me to go away, to sleep away for an entire semester or an entire year, to be away from my family for that amount of time would have been very difficult. Which is part of what attracts me to, your type of model, where it's more of a day model, so to speak. And I think you could talk about lodging if that's something you guys plan to do down the road. But
absolutely, yeah.
Where are you at currently? We're here in Richmond, Virginia. We're in a kind of a funny space academically. Yeah. Here in the city of Richmond, which is where I live, and the surrounding counties, all stayed home, and they started the year out virtually. Has that helped you, or has that hurt you as far as attracting students, and kind of where do you sit as of this moment?
Yeah, absolutely. It's because it almost feels like when I speak to some people, they think we're just trying to take advantage of the fact that kids are home right now. I mean, this has been in the motion since before the world came to an end. Yeah. And it actually, it has currently, in the present moment we're speaking, it has helped us. Our original goal, our original model involved the students using a homeschool structure that we kind of provided for them, which was going to be through Liberty University's online platform. And that would allow us, using that platform would allow us to, since it's a work at your own pace type of style, would allow us to dictate what a schedule looked like. So I made sure that there would be team lift and there'd be team practice and this and that, and everyone would be together, and we'd really build that culture of, a team. And where we have, about half a dozen students right now, one of which is using Liberty University. So it's the whole situation with the schools right now has actually really helped us, because we decided that we would allow students to continue virtual learning through their public schools. And, it definitely created a challenge on the early days with our scheduling, because each student's on a different schedule. Some schools are a lot more strict about the time spent in front of the computer. But something that has been really beneficial about that is I've learned that even the most restrictive school schedule can be worked around. Like, those students can still get 2 to 3 hours of training in a day between the hours of 8 and 4, which, that's usually stuff that you have to do after school, after the hours of 4, and have to drive to different places to do it. And I really think that, a lot of the students have recognized how much more they like this setting. So if the day comes that they have to go back to school, I think they're going to have a serious conversation about, I want to stay, because I've had students tell me already, I feel like I'm being so much more productive here, even if it's just them with 5 minutes. And I'll kind of touch on this later, but like, even if it's just a 5-minute break, they can, they'll go take short hops for 5 minutes, or they'll hit off the tee for 5 minutes, or they'll even pop over to the basketball court and shoot hoops for 5 minutes. The point being, they're staying active all day. They're keeping their brains moving, and they actually enjoy being in a space where learning is happening, where usually schools feel like you walk into a school and you're like, oh, I'm in school. So I think it's definitely been beneficial to this point, and hopefully moving forward, it will really open people's eyes that they like this type of structure a little bit more.
Well, one of the things about the virtual public schools is, on paper it sounds nice, but what I'm learning is that it's not actual a homeschool or virtual school, flexible, work at your own pace style. What it seems like, what I'm noticing is that they're trying to do in-person school through Zoom. And so these kids, you're talking about sticking a kid, I mean, even elementary school up through high school, you're setting them at a table, looking at a computer all day long, and they're chained to this thing, which is the exact opposite of what a homeschool or virtual learning should be. There should be flexibility. There should be opportunity to work in the way that best suits you as a student. I spent 5 years in the public school system, and there's definitely, depending on where you're at, you're either all in for innovative learning, or you're going to stick to your guns with a traditional method. And I think what you're explaining is, or you're describing is, a lot of people's refusal to shift their mindset to more innovative ways of teaching, and just saying, we're just going to keep doing it the way we've always done it. It's just going to be through a computer now. But It's what you said. That's not what it should be. It's a kid sitting at home. It's just very inorganic, and it's really taking a couple steps back in the world of innovative teaching. And I agree, it's not great right now, depending on where you're at. Which, at the end of the day, if this virtual thing through the public schools is going to continue, you may find students jumping your way at the end of the 9 weeks, or at the end of the semester. Just this idea, and I want to learn more about it. Taking an actual homeschool curriculum. There's just so much more flexibility to it. So you had mentioned Liberty. Now we know, I know, and probably a lot of our listeners know, Liberty University up in Lynchburg. That's one of the larger colleges in the world. I think they've got 100,000 plus students, 20,000 of them on campus there in Lynchburg. Yeah, with 80,000 plus online. I wasn't totally aware that they offered classes for high school. Can you tell
Yeah,
us about that a little
they
bit?
offer. Yeah, I mean, we're what we're calling a partner school. So, basically what that means is students that come to us and want to use that Liberty thing, they get, a small discount to do Liberty online schools, which includes their high school curriculum, and they can also take dual enrollment college courses for
Ooh.
far less than what you and I could do. Um, And yeah, I mean, they are. It's like you said, they are one of the largest online schools in the world. They offer curriculum from kindergarten all the way to post grad on their online platforms. And one of the things that's really great about it is what you said. It's super flexible because it is more of a traditional homeschool setting where you have the work and the assignments and work at your own pace. But at the same time, from the hours of 8 to 5 every single day, you can pick up the phone and get on Zoom with a tutor or a teacher or some sort of support. It's not like it's going to take you an hour to get on with someone. So if you need help, it takes you 2 minutes. You're on with the person, and they'll help you with your assignment if you need it.
Are most of those lectures pre-recorded then, so the kid can watch it at any time?
So for our students, because they need an NCAA kind of approved track, they're taking what are called enhanced courses, which have one live lecture a week, which if you can't watch, they are pre-recorded.
They record them for playback.
They're not pre-recorded, but you can record them and play it back. Exactly.
Yeah. And honestly, that's instead of sitting at your computer to watch your math teacher 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
The reality is, let's log in. Let's do our math lecture for the week at once, and then here's the week worth of assignments. Do it at your own pace. If you want to do it at 6 o'clock in the morning, do it at 6 o'clock in the morning. If you want to do it at 10 o'clock at night, do it at 10 o'clock at night. To me, that's the benefit of a homeschool or a distance learning or a virtual classroom.
It's much more authentic to a real work world.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. So what is what's a day in the life over there looking like right now?
Yeah. It's definitely variable depending on what school platform the student's on. But I mean, a normal day. So I'll pick out like student A. His schedule looks the same every day, Monday through Friday. This student doesn't start class until about 10:45 in the morning. So he usually gets there very early, about 8 o'clock. He gets his workout in. Then we'll either we'll probably hit for about an hour. And then around that time, he might shower, get a snack, and start class. That same student will have 40 minutes for lunch, during which he'll do some fielding work, shoot some hoops, whatever he needs, because he's going to eat his food during class because he knows he can spend that lunchtime doing baseball stuff. And he's done at 3:30, and whatever we haven't done yet that day, some more fielding drills, just go outside and hit some fungos because we do have 4 baseball fields. If he needs the long toss, whatever it is, he gets it all in. So that's a pretty great schedule because he has all that time in the morning. But you even have students with more restrictive schedules where, between 9 and 3, their only break is lunch, and it's an hour lunch. But even those students, they're getting an hour of work in from 8 to 9, which I usually like my students to work out first thing in the morning and get it done, because that's going to be the thing that's hardest to get done as the day goes on, I feel. And then they'll use that lunch hour to hit for a while. And we have a really good hitting coach in-house right now. And so there's all sorts of great hitting training they're doing during that time. And then when they're done in the afternoon, again, we'll field, we'll throw, whatever they haven't gotten done that day, or even if they already did it, if we want to spend more time on it, we will. So we definitely, and then those are like the students who are in public schools right now, where you're going to have some students with really open schedules that are flexible, some that are less flexible, and even the less flexible ones are getting 3 hours of training a day. Our student who's in Liberty online schools, and any student who joined, that becomes completely whatever we want it to be, because it is a work at your own pace. So if I have those students hitting at 11 o'clock because that's their lunch hour, I'll say, hey, but Johnny, why don't you go hit with your teammates, and this will be your hitting time. and then you have 2 hours of study hall after that, and then we're going to get our lift in, or whatever we want it to be that day. We can do it. And I have the schedule every Monday. I give them to my students and say, this is your athletic training schedule for the week based on your school schedule. So an average day, kid gets 2 to 4 hours of training a day, and that's all before 4 o'clock.
This is what I think what the majority of the people are missing in just the regular traditional school setting, where they're keeping your kid for 8 hours a day inside the school building. Is if you really looked at it, there's probably about 3 hours of super locked in learning time.
Exactly.
And everything else is just filler. It's filler. Yeah. And so if we can kind of break that mold and still get that 3 to 4 hours of focused learning time, and then take that filler and turn filler into baseball and turn filler into strength and conditioning, what it does is it increases your training, hopefully exponentially. But what it also does is it gives back so much time. It gives you back time that you can apply to, you could apply back to your spending more time with your family. I know teenagers don't like to do that, but maybe you can apply that to,
there.
Hey, let's get some more extra reps, or maybe let's get some more extra tutoring or academic work, or how about this piece of the puzzle? Rest.
And I think
rest is so important.
Rest,
it's like
absolutely.
Listen, these high achieving kids, the kids that we all know, and they're gonna go get those reps, and they're gonna do their homework, they're gonna get their social time, and they're gonna jam it all into the same day. And so the difference is, are we gonna finish the day at 9 o'clock, or are we gonna finish the day at 1 a.m.?
Yeah, no kidding.
And if you're going to sleep at 10 versus going to sleep at 1, it adds up. It adds up. And this is the thing. We're doing all the same things in just a much more efficient manner through an academy setting. That's honestly, that's why I'm such a big fan.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I say to parents all the time, because I know it's what you just said. The kids who are high achieving, they're going to go see their strength coach on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then their hitting coach on Tuesdays, and their throwing coach or hitting coach on Thursday. So they're driving to 5 different places every afternoon. Parents are running around, and you're getting home 7, 8 o'clock at night. And we're doing it all in one place in one day. I'm just exactly what you just said, because that's the reality for those high achieving students. They're going to get the work in, and I'll reiterate what you just said, because I love the way you put it. Are they done their day at 9 or 1? At night? And I think that's that's one of the huge attractions of the academy for a lot of students.
Incredible. You had mentioned earlier you've got a hitting guy in there. You're the pitching guy, and we can talk about pitching in a second, but do you guys have all the toys in there, all the tech toys that everybody's in love with these days? What are y'all playing around with and tinkering around with right now?
Well, so, Rapsodo's got to be the first thing I mentioned, because I think Rapsodo is the fastest growing piece of technology in the game of baseball, fully endorsed by Driveline, which is like the biggest name in baseball right now in terms of training. Myself, I am Rapsodo certified. I actually just earlier last week got an extra certification from them that apparently I was told I'm about one of 50 people in the country certified to do so. So the Rapsodo is a huge part of my pitching training. And then we also have, this is fairly new, a lot of people don't even really know much about this yet. We have what's called the Win VR, Win Reality, which is essentially virtual reality hitting training.
Oh yeah.
Which, you put on, it's pretty amazing. So, you're talking about dudes at Vanderbilt using this, and they legit say they don't even want to take batting practice anymore. They love this so much. You can, at the high levels, major league or college, you can essentially load a starter's or pitcher's TrackMan data into it and face that pitcher. You can see what he's got. You can but really kind of the goal of the machine and what we use it for is pitch recognition, swing decision, and, ball and strike recognition and stuff like that. So you can sit there and watch pitches come in and decide when you're going to swing. It'll tell you if your timing was good. You'll decide, you can test you on, like, do you recognize what pitch is coming in? How early did you recognize it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it a ball or strike? Where in the zone was it? And their next software update's actually going to include the ability to hit the ball and give you your swing metrics. So it's a really cool toy to play around with that, not many people have right now.
That's I've seen it. It's awesome. And
yeah,
the key to this thing is it's reps. It's reps. You're getting, to go out and get game-like reps against a guy, throwing fuzz. It's tough to do. It's tough to put that together.
Yeah.
So you throw on the goggles, you get all the toys, and now all of a sudden you can every single day you rep after rep after rep.
Absolutely.
Which is, what a cool thing. What a cool thing. Yeah, that's cool. Who is and I may have spaced out. Did you already mention the hitting guy? What's his name again?
No. So currently, we have Matt Wynn, who's a AA catcher in the San Francisco Giants organization.
I know Matt Wynn. When he was just a little kid at Tucker High School, I filmed his college recruiting video for him.
Yeah.
He went and played for the same guy I played.
BMI.
He played for Marlon Eichenberry, who I played for when I was at William & Mary. And
what a good dude.
Wynn is legit one of the best defensive catchers. He's so good. Good. So that's cool. I think you had told me that, but I think I'd probably forgotten it. So
Matt Wynn is an awesome coach. You mentioned I'm the pitching guy, and that doesn't mean I don't know anything about hitting, but I definitely don't know as much as I would like. So I just sit there and I listen to him coach the kids, and I learn, because he just has dudes who have played pro ball just have such a good way of knowing these things, because they pick it up, and he has a really good ability to communicate what and why we're doing something. Yeah. And he's awesome.
I hope you can keep him around. I know he's probably gonna. I'm assuming. I don't know if he's gonna continue. Pursuing the dream here, because I guess with this year's pro season, he didn't make the taxi squad. But moving into next year, with the skill he has at the catching position, he's a guy that any pro team would want to have.
I agree.
But if if that doesn't happen, you got to figure out a way to keep him. And
I agree. Yeah.
Legacy Park could turn into a sort of a catcher's training ground if word gets out that that one of the guys on staff is the best catcher to come through this state in probably I don't know, last couple decades maybe. Like legit, he's probably one of the best catchers to come through the state of Virginia. Well, that's awesome, man. Matt Wynn, good on you for getting that guy. Cool. What else is going on? I think we've hit the. I think we've kind of talked about the academy, and we've gushed over the all the benefits of the academy. If anybody's wondering, by the way, and if they don't know, the Legacy Parks is located like just north of Richmond. If you know where Ashland is, or if you know where Kings Dominion is, which is at the Doswell exit off right, a couple exits up. That's right off of I-95. So you're close enough into Richmond. You're just spitting distance to Fredericksburg right there again, and the nation's capital, and D.C. is probably another, from there maybe an hour and 15 away. It's pretty close. So you guys are off to a good start. The COVID thing could have been awful. But you guys lucked out by having baseball every single day, so lots of players got on that at the facility this year, and I bet you most people don't even realize there's an academy going on. So we got to help spread the word.
Yeah, we're definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's kind of the biggest goal for me right now is get the word out, get more players in, because the more players we can touch, or the more players we can coach and put through the doors, the greater our legacy can be, which, I think is really why we renamed it Legacy Park, because we want to leave a legacy and we want to help other people leave their own legacy.
That kind of reminds me to ask you about, at this point in time, I believe you have kids who are mostly within driving distance, but do you ever foresee a situation where kids would come in from out of state?
Oh yeah.
And would there be an opportunity for boarding?
Yeah.
What's the thought process on that?
So I think the most short-term thought right now is identify families in the community. Obviously vet them, make sure it's a stable home, clean criminal background, all that. Just kind of like with summer ball for college players. Mm-hmm. Find host families that can put a player up, and that becomes part of the tuition that they pay for that. Very similar to college baseball. So because I don't think you get into this academy game and you don't want to have players from out of state, because what an amazing way to really branch out is, you see a kid playing from Pennsylvania or North Carolina, and you just have a connection with them, and you say, hey man, come on up. This is a really great opportunity. Really down the line, I would love to be able to have dorms, but that's pipe dreams right now. Definitely something we're considering, reaching out to the community and finding some host families. So absolutely something that's in the works.
That's that's cool. That's cool. And where it's situated is pretty easy to get to for lots and lots of kids. Northern Virginia is so densely populated that to find a handful of students from up there, they can make the drive down. I could foresee some sort of potential carpool setup, and same thing from the Richmond area that is very dense with baseball players.
Absolutely.
Well, that's pretty cool. So Sean Mills came in basically a year ago, and took this thing over and has gone gangbusters. So congrats to him and for you to hooking on with him. That's awesome. Now you're also doing beyond the academy stuff. You're doing some pitching for any kid who just if they happen to be listening to this and they want to pop in and get some pitching work. You're offering that as well.
Yeah. Starting so basically what we call Lights Out Pitching Academy. So we offer pitching instruction, velocity training, strength conditioning, kind of the whole gambit of throwing training for any player, and really kind of specializing in pitchers specifically. So that's my own thing that I run out of Legacy Park. I think all my current clients really love it, and I think I'm trying to take that model for any students who are going to go kind of that more traditional route where they do all their training after school. I'm going to give them the best training they can get after school, all in one place again. So it's not a strength trainer in one place, a pitching guy in another place, and a velocity guy in another. It's all one stop right there. You can check us out on Twitter. It's at Lights Out BSB, Lights Out Baseball, at Lights Out BSB. Website is in the bio, and definitely hit me up.
Yeah, and we'll obviously put links to Legacy Park Sports and the Academy, and we'll put all your Twitter stuff, and it'll be over at playinschool.com/Lippert, Lippert, I think.
That's correct.
Playinschool.com/Lippert. Isaac, man, I appreciate you coming on with me today. Do you have any
thanks for having
shots?
Me on,
a lot of times we have these, the travel ball guys, but I'm just so infatuated with these academies, and one popped up right here in my backyard. So I thought let's find out more. I think this is going to be fun. This is a brand new. Literally, the doors just opened a month ago, so it's going to be really fun to follow the journey and see where this thing goes over the next couple of years. Spoiler alert: there's a basketball court inside the facility. So
there's a basketball academy too.
Yeah.
Equivalent of what we're doing for basketball players.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm looking at the banner logo on the top of the website, which is very cool. It's sort of it's red, white, and blue. It's sort of got the DC skyline. It's got an eagle. This thing is awesome. One version on the top right corner has a baseball player, so a hitter, kind of in his stance. The other side, I'm just noticing, has a basketball player like going up for a dunk.
It's subtle, but it's good, right?
Yeah. So I'm just noticing that basketball is already going to be a part of the deal. So obviously you guys are going to be probably an event first situation with all those fields you have over there. But this academy is gonna catch fire, and I think it's gonna be a big thing. So cool. You have any kind of parting shots for our listeners?
Oh man, I think no matter whether the academy is your way to go, or if you're someone who likes to train at home, at the end of the day, you got to put the work in. You got to want it, and your coaches can give you all the tools. So that's. I like to let kids know, like, no one's going to do it for you. We'll help you as much as we can, and I think I do a really good job of that. But at the end of the day, you got to want it yourself. So that's kind of, I guess, my parting words.
You got it. If you want to track down Isaac, you can reach out to me. I'll put you in touch, or just follow the links on the playinschool.com/Lippert, and you can track him down. If you are trying to run an event, a big tournament, showcase, combine type of thing, you might want to reach out to him as well, because that's
absolutely
they got the 4 big fields. They have the 4 little fields for the little guys and or softball. So reach out. I know that their summer schedule is going to probably be sold out, before long, if it's not already. So
pretty close to it.
Yeah, I figured that. Just the way this summer went. So, man, awesome stuff. We'll talk soon, okay? I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me on, Rich.
All right. Later.
All right. Take care, man.